Hey everybody, welcome back to Engadget's live CES coverage. I'm senior mobile editor Chris Velasco, and I'm joined today on stage by a man who really doesn't need introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. Slava Rubin, co-founder, CEO of Indiegogo. How are you, man?
I'm good. CES, it's crazy. Thanks for having me.
Crazy is probably the most polite word you could use to describe the show. Have you gotten a chance to walk around and see what's what?
You know, I definitely have been walking around a little bit, been staying mostly in the Indiegogo area, but I've been spending a lot of time in the Sands area where all the new innovative stuff is. I spent a little bit of time here in the convention center.
Yeah.
Definitely awesome to see the synchronized drones for Parrot. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that show, but I feel like I want to always come back and see what the next show is going to be.
Are you going to build your own one day? Are you just going to get a fleet of drones and make your own?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to build my own. I just probably will go on Indiegogo and get all the drones that are there.
All right. So we are here to talk about Indiegogo, and I really want to touch base on where you guys are. So it's about, you guys were founded about 8 years ago. Give us a state of the union. You know, how is Indiegogo doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. We launched in January 2008. I think in the earlier days, 2008, 2009, it was more just early filmmakers, creators, and just trying to get a little bit of money. $10,000 was a lot of money. And back then, we had no projects at CES. This year, we have over 110 companies funded that are here at CES. You know, we're distributing millions of dollars every week to nearly 100 countries. I mean, it's pretty awesome. We're over $800 million funds distributed.
You know, it's kind of interesting because when people talk about Indiegogo and sort of crowdfunding in general, they think of it as this very recent phenomenon. But like you said, 7-8 years, that's a bit of time. I mean, how do you think Indiegogo fits into the crowdfunding landscape now?
Yeah, I mean, since we launched, we have a lot of competitors. There's probably over 1,000 competitors. We really stand unique because we're the world's largest in terms of being open. We're completely data-driven. You don't have to have an application, and our customer service is the industry lead.
So let's dive back into that. You said Indiegogo is a very data-driven sort of platform/marketplace. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go to a gatekeeper, right, a VC, a banker, or any other platform that wants to decide for you and be the judge, are you good enough? That's old school, right? We're trying to be like Google or YouTube. We're trying to protect open. We're trying to allow anybody to be inspired and to be innovative and allow the crowd to decide, hey, do you want to fund this? And if not, it gives feedback to the entrepreneur saying, I probably need to work on my project.
So it's still mostly sort of up-and-comers, young founders, people new to product development, but you just announced this week an enterprise crowdfunding push. Tell us about where that came from. Like, was this always part of the Indiegogo master plan?
I mean, the master plan has always been to democratize funding, to create an open platform where anybody can raise money for any idea. We definitely have started with smaller creators, smaller entrepreneurs, but even earlier, at the end of last year, just a few weeks ago, Misfit, which was an awesome project from Indiegogo, just sold for $260 million. And also in the last year, you've been seeing a lot more large companies, the Fortune 1000, starting to see, wow, I want to do the same thing that these smaller companies are doing. I want to do better R&D. I want to do better market validation. So we're super excited at CES this year. We're announcing enterprise crowdfunding. So now the larger companies, which are already been doing it on Indiegogo, GE, Harman, Hasbro, are able to use the same techniques that these smaller companies are. So for example, you have the Opal ice nugget maker, which is from GE. They thought, you know, instead of the dense rectangular ice, I think some people might want more of a porous spherical ice so they can chew on it, but they weren't sure. Getting through the bureaucracy of GE was tough. So in their first build unit, their appliances unit, they said, let's test it on Indiegogo. Not only did it work, but they were able to raise over $2 million. It's not about the money. They got all the validation and the feedback from the customers. Now they're going to push this into their future refrigerator lines. And they will tell you, it's all about accelerating innovation. They lowered their costs to 1/20th the R&D costs. And from a 4-year cycle of production, it's now a 4-month cycle to be able to come out with a new product.
What's the sort of feedback that you've gotten from your users so far? Like, if I'm an up-and-coming founder, if I've got an idea for a product, should I be worried that some huge company is going to roll in with something similar and steal all my attention?
Exactly the opposite. They actually want to be more collaborative, where the younger companies want to get attention from the bigger companies. The bigger companies want to be finding new innovation. It's kind of like YouTube. In the early days, it was just small creators, and then the big media companies started finding out, and they were wondering, am I going to get pushed out? Now you see a lot of collaboration between the two. Similarly, Anheuser-Busch, again, one of the biggest companies in the world.
Which, by the way, really? Like a beer company on Indiegogo? Like, what is happening here?
Totally. Not only are they on Indiegogo, they're trying to support, you know, an important cause, which is to help stop the drought in California. So they found amazing entrepreneurs like the people from Drop a Brick, which is a product made of plastic that you put in your toilet to displace water. That way, when you flush, you use less water. So Anheuser-Busch came in, sponsored them, be able to give them some money, and now promoting that cause around America. So it's really great for them to find other innovators that they can back.
You know, it's very interesting. So I love startups, and I live and breathe them, and I love to cover them especially. And the biggest issue a lot of them seem to have is sort of going from idea, from this wild-eyed concept, while very cool, like the clear path to that becoming a product, it doesn't exist, right? So what does Indiegogo try to do to help out in those situations?
Absolutely, and this is where you're seeing the most evolution with Indiegogo. Typically when people think crowdfunding is just do you fund or not and see you later. But with Indiegogo, these entrepreneurs are finding a trusted partner. We're there when other VCs and other people are saying no, and then we're supporting them through their entire life cycle. A perfect example of that is actually the cat ear headphones. So there was 2 women that were at Berkeley who had this crazy idea. What if I come up with headphones that not only play music into your ears, that actually have cat ears on top? So if you want to actually play the music outside of the cat ears, you can choose in your ears or out the cat ears. Crazy idea with LED lights. You would think, would it get funded? The 2 women weren't sure. Next thing you know, $2 million of funding. But then they've actually never done this before. They've never done the manufacturing. They've never gone to retail. We were able to connect them with Brookstone, one of our Fortune large company partners, and they were able to help them with manufacturing. Now you're seeing at every single Brookstone airport, you're seeing the cat ear headphones sell like hotcakes. They're actually already sold $3 million on Indiegogo, and if you haven't seen them at CES, they actually have a giant cat ear headphones, enough for like a He-Man, huge like gorilla, it's awesome.
I'm going to ask you a very serious question right now, and I'd like you to look in the eyes of the audience while I ask this. How many pairs of cat ear headphones do you own?
Well, I actually own 1 pair of cat ear headphones, but for the people that want the whole collection, there's 4 colors, and actually as a holiday gift at Indiegogo, every employee got cat ear headphones.
So probably the best companies to work for, just because of the perks?
I think it's a good one.
I wanted to ask about something else before we get into my next line of questioning. How many actual Indiegogo-backed products do you own?
I don't actually know that answer. I've backed hundreds, and I probably have many. Like, I don't even know. I mean, most of my wardrobe is actually Indiegogo products.
It's all this. Like, this is all you wear, right?
This is the Indiegogo shirt, which maybe we should put it up as perks for people to fund. But actually, a lot of companies have T-shirts as part of their perks, so it's pretty much all I wear, sadly.
So let's talk about next steps, right? So it's been 7-8 years now. You've got a good sense of how the crowdfunding market works. It seems like you're helping a lot of fledgling startups do things they never would have been able to do otherwise. What comes next? What's the next step?
We just want to keep on investing more into that whole life cycle. For the entrepreneur, we want to be their trusted partner. From idea all the way to distribution and the marketplace, we want to support them. The pre-campaigning, coming soon concept, then actually doing the campaign. Next thing you know, you need to manufacture your product. Well, we want to help you figure out where to go with that. We're not going to do it for you. We want to get you the right partners. Along the way, you'll stay in commerce mode, and then you get into the marketplace where you're just selling. We already have over 100 products that you can buy right now and get it in the next week, just like you would at any e-commerce store.
Are there any milestones in particular that you've got your eyes set on? Like, are you trying to see a campaign that raises like X amount, like a huge amount of money? Like,
we're already
what's exciting?
Big dollar amounts is not so much the exciting part. The exciting part is all the innovation and seeing it become an easier product, become more ubiquitous across the world, more people feeling that they can be inspired to become entrepreneurs. We want to help them throughout the entire life cycle, not just the money. The money is good, but there's a lot of hard parts to being an entrepreneur, and we're there for them. So we want to be around where CES actually has hundreds and hundreds of companies funded from Indiegogo.
So really quickly, you're speaking as an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah.
You've helped probably countless entrepreneurs bring their products and make them a reality. What advice do you have to the people in like Eureka Park and in North Hall just trying to make it? They've scrimmed together enough money to come to CES. What are the lessons that you'd like to pass on to them?
I would say just think really big, start small, iterate quickly, be obsessed about the customer and the product, and then passion will drive you.
Awesome. We've actually got, I think, some pretty cool things to play with. And you've got one on your wrist right there. Can you tell us what you got?
So this is the best part, is actually showing off all the cool stuff. So this is actually the Atlas wearable. This is actually an activity tracker. They call it the smartest tracker. It actually has algorithms in it and intelligence to be able to tell 60 different exercises by itself, just based on movement. So I'm going to try to move my hand a little bit while I'm holding this, and I'm just going to touch this. And now I'm going to go into freestyle. Press that. It says start exercising. I'm going to start exercising.
Here, let me hold your mic.
There you go.
Yeah. By the way, folks, this is something I am never going to do on stage. This is bravery right here.
Okay.
All right, so you busted out 3.
4.
Okay, sorry, I shortchanged you.
That's right. That's why we need one of these. Otherwise, we won't be able to count correctly.
Oh, it's tricky, man. Numbers are hard.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's cool. You could also, like, if I want to start doing jumping jacks right now, or if I want to start swimming, it by itself would know the action that I'm doing and would just start counting. Anyway, I don't want to sweat too much, so let's move on to the next one.
So I've actually got something on my wrist as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a surprise. Let's pull it back. So this is called the Padlock. Tell us a bit about how this works.
Yeah, so Padlock is a wearable, but a little different. So if you've heard of, Pavlov's dog, this is trying to teach you better habits. And the way it does it is whenever is the right time based on an internet-connected reason, or personally, you can just do it by yourself, it will actually give you an electroshock, a small zap. So it just trains you to have better habits.
Okay, so I'm going to admit something that I'm not terribly proud of. I am an on and off smoker.
Oh,
I smoke a lot at CES. It's very stressful. So something like this could theoretically get me to stop, or at least help.
It will definitely help. Actually, anytime that you take a cigarette out and you start smoking, you should smoke it. And after you're done, you should press that. And every time you're going to get a little annoyed. And the more and more, it's going to keep on telling your brain, I probably shouldn't do that. Or even better, I can at any time from a remote place, especially with this product or some other product, I can actually do it remotely and do it for you and tell you to stop smoking because I saw you on my phone.
Okay, well, I feel like we have to try this. You have to shock me. So how do we do this?
Sure. You can do it to yourself, or I'll do it for you. Ready?
Okay, so I'm taking a cigarette, smoking a cigarette,
and
feel gross.
You just press down.
Okay.
We're going to do it to this camera right here. Ready?
Ow! That didn't really hurt, but it catches you by surprise.
You
right?
might
It's
stop
fair.
smoking.
Let's hope so, right? And so we mentioned this as well. Tell us what we've got.
Yeah, so this is Flick, the world's smartest button. And the idea here is you can connect it to your cell phone or through the internet to be able to just take any action. So for example, if I wanted to, I could actually connect this to the internet or to the phone so that when I see you doing this, I could just be walking around CES, I saw you with a cigarette, I'm just like, Flick, and you're like, boom, buzz. Or, I just want to be able to turn on and off the lights whenever I want, and I just want to sit here and turn on, so I just, and you're like, well, there's buttons or switches anywhere. Well, this is universal through the internet that you can have it changed into anything you want.
So I'm a little terrified by the fact that you could remotely inflict pain on me, but I am counting on you.
We're friends.
We are friends. I'm counting on you to help me quit smoking by the time we leave here. We've actually got a third guest on stage who we haven't really acknowledged yet. His name is Buddy.
Buddy is very chill.
Buddy is very chill. He's looking around. He's taking a look, see what's going on. Tell us a bit about what's going on here.
Yeah, so Buddy is totally amazing. An autonomous robot. So obviously it looks super cute, but don't let that, make you think that it's just very simple. This actually has so much intelligence inside of it. It can actually help you with entertainment education, for example, to your kid. It can help you for telepresence. If you want to be able to be that person and you're in New York, but you want Buddy to be in San Francisco. Or you actually went to work and you're not sure if somebody's going to break into your home. Buddy by himself or herself, choose your own gender, can be autonomously walking around your home, or I guess rolling around your home, and actually sensing because it can see if it can see if a movement has happened, it can sense if heat is rising, so if a fire is happening, and it can sense all these different things. And if it senses it can trigger back to your phone as the owner to say, uh-oh, now you can just jump in and start saying, what does Buddy see? You can start controlling it and actually start going towards the heat and seeing what it is. It can also help you in a number of other ways. Let's say you want to be able to turn on and off your lights while you're home, you're a little lazy, or you want to check on, your husband and whether or not he's snoring in the other room. You don't have to get up, just roll Buddy over, and there you go.
Tell us a bit about the startup that made this, by the way, because nothing against the things that we've just tried. This is a fascinating and very complex machine.
Yes. So Blue Frog Robotics, Jean-Michel is right here. He's actually one of the brains behind the product, and there's other brains here as well, but they've been researching from France. Indiegogo is totally global. We're so proud of the fact that they're from France, and they've been researching what is the size of the robot, what is the angles, what are the software that it needs, what is the intelligence, what is the sensors, how should it be used.
No? Okay.
Jean,
Hey, can I?
he wants to say hello. So,
How did you not want to say hello to that face?
I've been hanging out with Buddy all CES.
It's the best friend you've got here,
Buddy's
right?
my roommate.
I'm so sorry. We've got actually one more thing that we'd like to show off, and it involves something that's incredibly unprecedented for the Engadget stage.
Yes, you thought push-ups was good. Wait till you see this Robin.
Okay, so
I'll hold your mic.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what we've got while I do my thing here?
Just introduce it.
Yeah, so I'm wearing it's a shirt called Hexoskin. It's a Montreal-based startup.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us more about it while I take off my clothes?
Sure. So this is just another example of people wanting to know more about themselves. So obviously you're all wearing your own clothes. You could be wanting to work out, or you actually just want to keep track of yourself. This actually has all the sensors built into the Hexoskin, and these folks are from Canada. It's actually tracking your heart rate, tracking all these different vitals. Looking good, looking good. So you can get this right into your cell phone. So for example, if I wanted to see how he's doing and I was concerned about his heart rate, I could be tracking it on the cell phone, or he could be tracking it himself. Otherwise, he can just check every night how his vitals are doing.
This is it does kind of grow on you. So when I put it on for the first time, I've got a bit of a gut. I could be in better shape. It's very tight, but it's now sort of comforting. I like knowing all of my information. It's great to have it in one place.
It's Spanx meets wearables.
That's going to be everywhere. Spanx meets wearables?
Well, no, it has to be that tight so that the sensors can get the appropriate information, especially for like the heart rate EKG stuff. I mean, it's super cool.
And to be fair, so the sensors are built into the shirt itself.
Yeah, exactly.
They roll into this little breakout box here.
Exactly.
So this is the actual brains of the operation. So this relays everything back to your phone. You can see your heart rate. You can see your lung capacity, too, which is fascinating.
Yeah, where this really works is when you're going to be an athlete, you really want to be precise about all these things. Does that hill affect your heart rate? Do you need more oxygen? Can you do 3 laps instead of 2 laps under the amount of oxygen that before you went underwater or whatever it is? These things all are super helpful, and that sort of precision is why you would want one of these. You also can use it as a layperson walking around CES.
See, I feel like now I have to strap on the Atlas and bust out some push-ups.
You want to do it?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I really don't. Slava Rubin, thank you so much for joining us here at CES. It's always a pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back soon with a lot more live from CES. I'm Chris Velasco. This is Engadget. Stay tuned.